Hey there, my name is Julia Rose. I'm a psychic medium and Reiki master, and I pray this message finds you at the precise time you need it. As always, take what resonates with you and leave the rest for everyone else, as these are timeless collective messages. Put it where it fits, okay? So, the message today is about a collective out here where people are viewing you in a very special way, okay? You are you are being seen as someone right now who has the ability to start over. Like that was the biggest message coming through, starting over, starting over. They just notice, people are noticing about you that you have this ability to create something out of nothing. And maybe you're the kind of person who's gone through a lot of really major setbacks in life, and they're just noticing this resilience in you. Like you have this ability to just completely overcome anything that you go through, anything that's thrown at you, and still come out on top. So this first card that came out was create. So maybe the spider spirit could be significant to you, either webs. I was also seeing dream catchers as a synchronicity for someone here. And I'm hearing cantaloupe. That's really specific. So maybe it's melon season for you, or you've been wanting to like engage with the color orange a little bit more in your foods to help balance your sacral chakra. So, because generally the same color your foods are as the chakra that they balance, okay? So, with this create card, it's like people are noticing this kind of magical quality about you, but I don't think all of them would articulate it as magic. They wouldn't articulate it as something um as kind of occult as that. I feel like they might say something a bit more like, oh, well, they just have this ability to like take their ideas and run with them. Maybe they think that you're very artistic. For some of you here, for sure. For sure. Like you just have this dreamer quality, okay? And people don't get how you're able to perceive things like that, but still be very grounded and very present and very loving because they want to associate someone who has this kind of ability to generate reality as someone who's cuckoo. Cuckoo, a little cuckoo, a little out there, but you're far from it. Yes. Spirit's saying you're far from that. And I think it's kind of this complexity that is what gets people kind of like, this is so interesting. Yeah. Maybe people could be noticing you falling in love with yourself more or just falling in love with life. There's a real strong emphasis on Piscean energy here. Um, that's coming through like a strong water sign. So maybe Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio influences here. Just because I'm noticing like the reflection of the water. Theoretically, these swans would be on water, right? So it feels like the reflection that you create in your reality is shifting, okay, because of the love that you have for yourself, the love that you have been receiving. Maybe this is from a special someone. Maybe this is people wondering like how did you get like that? I'm just hearing people ask like, how did they get like that? How did they get like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. We have energy coming out next here with a hummingbird. And then joy with a dragonfly. Energy, joy. There's something here about you taking off, like your life taking off here and generating a lot of momentum. And I feel like people are noticing this kind of surge of energy around you that's getting ready to lift you up. Even if they can't really articulate it, it's something they're they're noticing about the way that you're moving differently. Like maybe you're even talking differently in conversations or setting boundaries differently. That's for some of you here. But this feels like they are noticing how aware you are despite this really kind of celestial quality. Maybe you could have some strong Neptune influences or 12th house influences in your chart. This is really, really interesting. I feel like you're an enigma to these people. There's something like so grounded yet so otherworldly about you, and they just can't understand it. They don't know how to interpret you sometimes. And I feel like people stare at you a lot. Yeah, it feels like a lot. I just seen like a lot of eyes on you, like trying to figure you out, but they can't. And I think maybe sometimes you get this air or energy of people trying to figure you out. Like you might feel at times like you're being dissected by someone, whether they're just looking at you or you can feel conversations happening that you're not a part of. But it's just because they're curious. I don't feel like there's any ill intention here. They're really just like, I don't get it. Like, how? How did they do that? Who even are they really? Yeah. And I feel like one of these people is someone that wants to learn from you. They don't know how to really approach you about that, though. They don't really know how to say, well, you have something that I want, and I want that. Teach me how you have that, because they can't articulate what it is about you that they want to embody themselves. And maybe for someone here, it feels like if they just spend enough time with you, it might just like kind of rub off on them. So, how are people seeing you, collective? We had the rabbit come through. So it feels like you have a lot of resilience, a lot of flexibility and buoyancy in the way that you approach really difficult matters. And I feel like there's just this air of hope or rejuvenation around you that people just crave. They just crave it. I'm just hearing they want all your time. They want all of your time. And maybe this could be like an air of innocence that you give off at times, just because you're so bubbly and you're so in tune. Yeah, and it's really interesting because like yeah, that's what I was feeling, the crow here. Because there's this duality of you here of like you see all, like you have this joy and this upliftment and this natural sweet curiosity here. Okay, maybe this side's easier. Yes. The sweet curiosity and almost innocence. It's a very warm energy. At the same time, you're like sitting on top of this gem of truth. And you're like, I gotta guard this with my whole life. And maybe for some of you, this is your power. You finally discovered that again. And so it actually gives off this simultaneous, like, really, really sweet and cute, but also super intimidating. And I feel like you haven't, you don't always necessarily notice that about you, but Spirit's showing you through some of your interactions right now just how much people are like glitching when they're around you, okay? Because it's like here's this duality, this polarity and this balance here of like being, so before it was like being really grounded but also being really otherworldly in a way that people can't articulate, and here we have being really, really joyful and abundant and very, very loving and uplifting and sweet and almost like innocent, it might be the word, childlike, full of wonder. Yes. And then at the same time being very serious and very sharp. You have such an air of authority and definitiveness around the things that you have come to know are true, that sometimes people don't expect this side of you. Maybe they can sense it at some level, but more so you're thriving in a lighter energy, a surface level lighter energy. The crow is full of intense wisdom, intense knowledge about and incredible comfort with things that are uncomfortable, right? Like not being afraid to look at those sides of things too. People don't understand how you balance this duality in your entire being. It doesn't make any sense to them. They're like collectives and enigma. Collectives and enigma. And they sense this kind of gravity to you, even when you're in this really wonder filled energy. Yeah, you have this tone of authority. You don't always step into it, but it comes out in ways that people don't expect and in very unexpected times that they just kind of like get really thrown off by it. Because maybe they say something or you notice something or they ask you a question about something and you're just like, yeah, well, but and just like just zoning in on that and people go, "Whoa, what?" Not expecting that kind of intensity from you, even if they can sense it in some subconscious way. I feel like that's all for these cards. What else are people noticing about you right now, collective? Okay. Ah, wow. I was giving. I was feeling this Empress energy here with the rabbit. I have another deck that the Empress is embodied by the rabbit spirit. And here we are, the Empress. The Empress. Yes, it's just like you know who you are, and that's so attractive. Yeah, it's sun on the bottom of the deck. You know who you are, and that's so attractive. It's radiant. And it's just like people feel like it's so easy for you to embody this energy. They just think it's so easy for you to embody this energy, but what they're starting to recognize, maybe in very unexpected ways, is how much work and effort you've actually put into embodying this kind of energy where you can feel like you're on top of the world, where you can feel like, yeah, you know, I don't have to see how everything's going to pan out in order to trust completely and implicitly that God's got me. Yep. Like, I feel like you just give this, I'm just hearing it's astounding. Like, it's just this very astounding energy. You could resonate with the color purple. I'm just seeing, like a purple aura around you. And maybe people who can see auras or get flashes of auras recognize this color around you, along with white and silver. Okay, so there's another message here about, like, I'm seeing some of you, if you're the kind of person that likes to wear makeup. You wear makeup and you're beautiful. You don't wear makeup and you're beautiful. And people are just wondering how, maybe if that doesn't apply to makeup, that's like style. Because I'm seeing really sharp and put together and really intentional. Um, and then I'm seeing just like very comfortable. And the balance between these is very different and yet equally alluring. People are just like, how do you just exist in all of these dualities and all of these opposites and still manage to like make it all work? They don't understand how you can be this multidimensional. Even if that's not the word they would use to describe it, they just notice that regardless of how you appear in any given moment, you still show up in the same kind of vibration. Okay? It's very interesting. Yeah. You always turn people around. Wheel of Fortune here. You always turn people around. Whether you're talking, whether you're just existing and minding your own business, there's something about you that has this ability to catalyze changes for people. Literally, even if it's just like talking to you for 5 minutes, talking to you for 5 minutes, you just like completely turn things around for them. I feel like this is positive. Most times, I don't think it's not negative in like, oh my God, you made them feel so terrible. It's like an overwhelming shock to the system. Like the truth that you like vibrate at, your frequency when it's unfiltered and you're just speaking truth, it's it's something here that has the ability to completely change someone's world. Okay? Like even if you just say four things, like three, I held up 5 fingers, so 5 things, 4 or 5 things, you have the ability to change people's perspectives on things that they never thought they would get clarity on. Never. And that's giving priestess energy, seers. I mean, no doubt you're intuitive. Like, obviously. But I think people didn't understand how that could manifest moment to moment, right? Just because I feel like you mind your own business. Yeah. The Page of Wands here says that there's actually a really playful side to you that people don't always expect, or it comes out in ways. Yeah, I'm seeing it comes out in ways that are, yeah, my nose is really itchy. So that just tells me that I'm onto something here. Um, maybe someone feels like you're onto them. I don't really know what that's about, but maybe you've been peeping something. I don't know. I don't know. I think more that that's an energy of people feeling like you see right through them, and maybe you've had people come into pretty harsh realizations of this, not because the way that you spoke was really harsh, but just the way you responded to certain things was very clear. I want to say sharp again. It's very sharp. Not that your tone was necessarily like really intense, but the what you were saying was a really, yeah, it's like this sword here, really strong catalyst. You pinpoint on things exactly. Like you touch on things directly to the point. And and then at the same time, it's like you have this quality about you that it's just like you're still so fun. Like how can you know so much and still be so fun? Like, I feel like that's what some people are thinking. They're like, and yet you laugh all the time. It's so interesting. Like how could you have gone through so much and still have this like light, playful energy about you? How do you turn things around for yourself like that? I feel like this is what people want to know, but they don't know how to ask you because they don't know if they really want the answer. Because I think they're starting to get that this intensity came with work. Okay? Like you've been playing a long-term game here. Yeah, we had the sun actually come out now. It's like they don't understand how much goes into this. And I feel like with that, maybe they're reaching for the sun. It's just like, well, if I get too close to the truth, will it hurt me? I feel like that's what some people are thinking. Yeah, and the Five of Swords, like this all-seeing eye is just like people. I don't think people want to underestimate you, but because you don't put the foot forward that is always the most intense initially, that once people start to get to know you, you're like an absolute enigma and they're like, "Huh?" Because I'm seeing you recognize something that is illusory here. You're recognizing some sort of struggle. You're recognizing some sort of, maybe it's even a battle for consciousness within someone. Maybe this is the kind of thing where people feel like you see right through them. Again, that just came through again. And they're just not like, they're not expecting that. At least not for you to speak about it the way that you do, which feels like it's a stream of consciousness kind of energy here. Yeah, Two of Pentacles. I'm hearing like, do I say something? Do I not? Do I say something? Do I not? People don't know if they should approach you with their questions because they know you're gonna like rip it up. You're gonna, because I landed right on the Wheel of Fortune here. Like you're going to change. You're going to change something. If they decide to speak up and ask you a question, you're going to end up changing their life. Okay? And I feel like while you're ready for that because you've come so far already, maybe you don't always acknowledge that. Not everyone's ready to change that way. And that's why they're understanding now that this is a different kind of caliber in you than they've really fully encountered before. Okay, lots of cards. Ace of Wands. I feel like this torch of knowledge is something that I feel like it's something people envy, but they don't understand that the process is not something that anyone should envy. The things that you had to go through to get to be as powerful and empowered as you are today, you wouldn't wish that on anyone. I mean, you'd be the first person to offer a hand to help if they really wanted to step up into the work. But I feel like people don't get it. And I think that's something that frustrates you sometimes. I'm just hearing this is not a joke. And I feel like what you work through at times is your patience around like the energies and the situations or the people that underestimate you. I feel like you've come a really long way in releasing attachments to how other people perceive you. Because you're just going to show up as you the way that you're called when you're called. You know? Yeah, Eight of Cups. There's a lot that you have to let go of. And people, I think, are recognizing how much you tolerate being misunderstood. Maybe that's not something that people recognized about you until recently. Because I feel like however you appear is different from how they would expect someone with your kind of knowledge to appear. You know? And in a way that's like incredibly judgmental. But also it makes you perfectly positioned to navigate spaces where someone with that maybe superficial type wouldn't be able to reach, you know? Like yeah, like you carry this innate, I'm hearing hermitude, like this innate understanding of why you feel different. And I feel like you had to work really hard to come to peace with that, about how different your journey really was and why you're called to live a different way and embody your gifts differently than others might if they tuned into them. I'm hearing you made peace with that a long time ago. The thing that you would have to let go of a lot, that you would have to, I almost want to say sacrifice, but it's not even like you really had to fight with these things to let them go. It's just like you knew in your journey that you would have to make some very difficult choices to keep going the way that you were called. And maybe at the time they felt like really difficult choices, but now it's just easy. It's like clockwork, I'm hearing. Oh, time for cleansing. Okay. Oh, time to leave. Time to go. Okay. Okay. Time to step up into this kind of thing. All right. All right, time to leave this job and go here. Okay, time to leave this relationship and spend time on my own again. Okay, maybe it's time to da 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 da. I feel like people don't understand the amount of willpower it takes to be as devoted to the divine as you are. People could not even like, you don't even recognize you from your past timelines. But the fact that you don't ever talk about most of that journey, when you do start to speak about some of these things that you've been through, people are just like, how the hell did you get from there to here? They don't understand the amount of surrender, but also trust, the faith that you've had to have in order to let things change in your reality so much to the point that you could be where you are today. And I think it's funny because I'm tapping this, I'm like, you're like hammering it in. And for the people that really want to get it, or the people you really feel like need to get it, they're going to learn. They're going to understand how you came to be. How you came to be. Okay. Yeah. Seven of Cups. You are not lost and you are not confused. Not anymore. Even if things don't appear clear, that doesn't mean you're lost, and that doesn't mean that God's just throwing you out in the deep end. Nope. This is just rest and reset mode. Redirections. You have faith in your redirections. And I feel like that's what people are starting to understand. Like, a lot of people have a lot of people around you that are thinking about you and like trying to figure you out. They have a very difficult time of letting go of things. They have a very difficult time really coming to terms with things that are ending in their life, okay? Or things that need to change, need to evolve. But they're recognizing that you have this ability to just be like, all right, it is what it is. I'm not going to waste time fighting with it, you know? There's no point in fighting with what is, because that doesn't get you anywhere. You know that. You've learned that. So that's what people notice about you, that you have this ability to step up into anything that's new and just run with it, because you don't really have a choice, do you? You understand that there's nowhere to go back to, and that there's no point in reverting back to who you used to be. Uh-huh. If you have to just wait things out, you will, Hanged Man. If you have to just wait things out, you will, until it becomes clear. You have this ability to hold space in discomfort that people really are mesmerized by. Like, your ability to just tolerate. Tolerate being misunderstood, tolerate being judged, tolerate your triggers. It's just this, like, okay, yeah, well, I can either fight it or it can just, see where it goes. You have the surrender that people just do not understand. They're like, how do you even get like that? Because they're like, I can never. I have to have things be this way, be this way, be this way, be this way, and if it's not like that, I go crazy. And you used to be like that. You can't get to where you are right now without having started from somewhere you could learn from. Your depths are mysterious to folks, and you are going to be pretty amazed at the kinds of questions people are going to ask you. Okay? We have the Eight of Swords, and then the Six of Wands. You could be seeing 888, 555, 3737, 1212, and 1010. Eight of Swords, the Six of Wands. How are people seeing you? Like, you don't really care what other people think of you. You've learned to define yourself on your own terms. And that gives you this air of strength that people, some of them might envy, but others of them are just, they just admire that. Like, dude, how? How? Hmm. You can't even make that up. I think I'm going to end it there. Part two over on Patreon, links in the description box below. We're going to unpack what you're supposed to be teaching people right now in this season of your life. Okay? With these folks specifically that are resonating, those of you that are resonating with this message, that you're like, "Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense." Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Uh-huh. Book a reading with me. The link's in the description box below. You can find Reiki sessions as well as psychic readings and a whole lot of different curated intentions with those sessions. So take your time when you're looking through everything I've got to offer. All right. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.